Hello everyone, I'm here with a very depressing subject. Sometimes I come to you guys with depressing subjects and that's just part of life, and I was really contemplating on whether or not to share this depressing thing that I went through. But then I thought, oh yeah, why on earth are you on YouTube if not to share and to be honest? And hopefully someone out there can relate and maybe we can go through this together. Let me just bring you back to 2 days ago, which was Valentine's Day. But before I do that, I want to tell you guys what I received as a gift from my aunt from Valentine's Day when I was 25. So when I was 25, I went to stay with my aunt in the States for a few months in Florida. Some of you guys are from Florida, some of you guys are not, but it's a very tropical place and very beautiful. But I was very sad in this very beautiful place. There were a lot of things that were happening back then in my life that were very hard for me. And I was very, very depressed and very uncertain about the future and just overall not a happy camper. And I think that this happens to quite a lot of us in our 20s, that we just go through things and it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. We don't know where to go from there. And the cool thing is that one day when I was at my aunt's house, we were cleaning out the years and years and years of accumulated stuff that my grandparents left behind. My grandparents lived in that house. After they passed, my aunt moved in and there was just boxes and boxes of stuff. And so while we were going through those boxes of things, she told me that if there was something that I wanted, I should tell her so that she can give it to me and I could take it home. While we were going through the boxes, I found this. And it was so beautiful in my eyes. Like, the first thing that anyone sees when they come to greet you at your house is this beautiful symbol of love and romantic love. And I saw it in the box and I'm like, wow, like, can I have this? And she sort of said like, no. And then she took it away and sort of put it back in the box. I was like, oh, okay. I thought that she wasn't really, holding everything way too dear to her heart. Apparently, maybe I was wrong. Didn't think too much about it. And then on Valentine's Day, if I remember this correctly, she sort of wrapped this up and then gave it to me. And she said that she was only, just like sort of joking about, not giving it to me, and that she wanted to like present it to me as a gift on Valentine's Day. And I thought to myself, wow, like how beautiful and redemptive of a gift this is, being sad about not feeling like I had any prospects, or maybe I'll never get married, and all the things that you feel insecure about. She sort of gave me hope on that day. And I always told myself that when I have my own house, that I would put this on the front door, and it would be a testament as to how I overcame and how love did eventually find me. And then, a year went by and another year went by and another year went by. And lo and behold, this beautiful gift, it never found a door. It never found a door. And this couple has never kissed. So wonderful. Fast forward, from age 25 to age almost 34, I'm still single. And after one, very failed relationship years ago, I haven't had anyone else, haven't found anyone. It's not that small opportunities wouldn't present themselves, but it wasn't the right thing. And so I am still single since receiving this gift. What happened what happened 2 days ago was that it was Valentine's Day, the 14th of February. I don't know if it's different in different countries, but here in Israel it's celebrated on the 14th. It's more of like it's not a national holiday, it's more like a cultural one. Not everyone celebrates it, but LT and I have this sort of habit of like her doing a Valentine's Day party. And so that started, I think, from the States already, while I lived there in Texas, and then she continued it here, and every year I've gone to Valentine's Day, which for the most part, it's like, okay, there's a type of sadness in this day that I don't have my own date, boyfriend, fiance, husband to be with, but you know, it's better than nothing, right? Valentine's Day is wonderful. It gives all of us single gals an opportunity to show love to each other and show love to ourselves and be together in that same boat. Well, I guess this is harder to talk about than what I thought. I'll just tell you guys what happened, and then I'll tell you how I got there. So, I woke up that day of Valentine's Day, and I was not really in a good mood. And I was sort of stuck that day in sort of freeze mode. If you guys know what that is, freeze mode, I'll put that here. And I kept trying to like function and get up and eat breakfast, and then I tried to get up and clean, and I wasn't able to, and I just found that I was like not really functioning well. And it was a Friday, so if you guys have ever been in Israel, on Friday the public transportation stops early, and so suddenly I'm like, oh yeah, you're really behind on your schedule. You don't want to get like the last bus out, because then you can miss the buses in the city. And so I was sort of like, because of my procrastination, my freeze mode, I wasn't doing things on time, and then I was rushed. So I was rushed taking a shower. And then I tried to see what I was going to wear. And because I've gained so much weight around my belly, abdomen, butt, nothing fit me. Oh my gosh, there's a deer. I'm going to show you. I was late on my schedule and couldn't find anything to wear, and everything that I put on my body was like, oh, I feel so fat, and I feel so out of shape, and I feel so like my youthful body in my 20s is gone, and I don't know how to get my younger body back, and just feeling so yucky with myself and with my skin and everything. I just felt yucky. And eventually I got on a bus, and then missed my last bus in the city to get to LT's house, so I had to take a taxi. And then I bought the wine and whatever I was supposed to bring, and got to her home. And it's like my thoughts during the day were just foul, you know what I mean? Like thoughts of like, I'm no good. How is it that I'm invited again to this Valentine's Day, and yet I'm still single? How is it that it's the same thing? How is it that nothing has changed? How is it that my body feels so crappy? Like just everything. And everything felt out of balance. Like, okay, here's also the hard thing that's like really hard for me to admit to like strangers on the internet, if you will, but like, I'm a very physical person, and I think the night before I was dealing with just like struggling with the fact that for years and years I'm in such a physical deficit of just like physical touch, just hugs. I'm not even talking yet about anything sexual, just literally hugs. Like, just someone give me a hug longer than 5 seconds, because my body feels like it's in a deficit, like it's in a lack. And whenever someone gives me like a longer hug, I will literally feel like the imprint of them on my body, and I feel less achy. And I know that's sort of hard to describe. Like, what do you mean you feel achy? Like, when my body doesn't get physical touch, I feel like it's aching, like it's in pain or something, and I can't describe it, because it's not like a type of pain of like, oh, I have a fever and I'm in pain. It's just this weird feeling of just physical discomfort that you feel like your body is trapped. And that's what I was feeling. And I literally had to take a weighted blanket, fold it over. Like, weighted blankets are really heavy. I needed to fold it over and put it on my chest to feel like there's weight on my body. And so I was struggling with that distress on my body, struggling with the fact that my body felt crappy, struggling with the fact that I'm still single. And so I get to LT's house and I'm trying to like, just like brush it off, even though I sort of like pre-warned her and I'm like, listen, I'm in a foul mood. You sort of have to talk me off of the ledge, whatever. But I don't think she understood, or even I understood, just how harsh of a condition I actually was. I think my soul was accumulating the stress in my body, the dissatisfaction of life, the dissatisfaction with being single, and it all just sort of came to this one point on Valentine's Day. And I was sort of like not really responsive. I sort of like asked if I could help, but there wasn't really anything to do yet. We plopped on the sofa. Each was like doing her own thing, and she sort of, I tried to talk about it a bit. Like, it was sort of this weird like thing, because it's like she needed to cook and I was suddenly in distress. And what ended up happening is that I had a full-blown panic attack. But I mean like panic attack. Like, I couldn't really breathe and I was crying, and she asked me like, what do I need? And I couldn't really tell her what I needed. And it was just a crappy situation that kept getting worse and worse and worse, to the point where I'm hyperventilating and I start to get into such a panic, and I start like crying and like losing control. Anyways, I went into full-blown panic, tried to calm myself down, and then it got worse again, to the point where I was just like bawling my eyes out. I couldn't feel my ears, couldn't feel my hands, like my body was just like going through it. I felt so bad because, LT has to start cooking, and I didn't want to ruin the mood. And I also knew that like, if this is getting worse and worse and I can't control how I'm reacting to this, then I shouldn't put the girls or her in a position where, like, I looked really bad, is what I'm saying. Like, everything was smudged. I didn't look good. I was not, like, you could tell that I was crying and sad, and I just was not happy. And I knew that I couldn't fake it throughout that evening. And it was like an hour until the girls were supposed to come, and I was just like, oh yeah, you know that you can't fake it, and really all you want to do is just be with your family. And so my poor little sister and her husband, I'm like, can you come and get me? Because they were on their way from their city to ours, and so they got me on the way there. And I sort of had to tell my family, like, listen, I know I said I wasn't going to be there today because it was Friday. Everyone has Sabbath dinner on Friday. And I said, like, I just had a massive panic attack. I probably don't look really good, but just like go with the flow with me and I'll be fine during the evening. And so, I got home, and, everyone was sort of just acted very graciously with me and very normal. And what I needed to do is literally just have physical touch. And my little nephew, Lavi, I call him Lugi, and my youngest nephew, Gabriel, who I call Baby Fishy, they were both there, and I was able to basically just hug them both. So like hugging Lugi and like having him on my lap during dinner, and playing with him a bit, and holding Gabrieli, and because he's a baby, you can hold him for as long and he just doesn't mind chilling with you. And that was literally the most touch that I had had for the longest duration in a long time. And I could literally feel the upper part, because I'm holding them, I could feel the upper part of my body, like feel like the distress in it was like leaving. And I don't know if like the demographic here, if some of you guys that are watching this are single or not single, or engaged or divorced, or never want kids or never want to be married. I'm sure there's a mix of us here. But when you're in lack and you don't have a way to change that or to fulfill it, it's so disheartening and discouraging and so distressing. And that's just on the like human touch level. I'm not even talking about sexually. Like, I have a high sex drive. There's literally nothing I can do about it. I don't have anyone. I'm not married. And as a Messianic Jew, that is extremely hard. This sort of like thing that God put in place, that he's like, hey, I created sex within a covenant of two people, a male and female, according to my beliefs. And until then, well, good luck, as people say. You know what I mean? It's like, for people like me, that physical touch is like a necessity for life. It is so hard when you don't have that. Now, that's on the physical side. What about the companionship side? I mean, that's pretty obvious. Like, I have girlfriends, and quite good girlfriends. They're extremely faithful. They're so encouraging. They're lovely. Like, I'm very, very blessed in this way. I have a relatively rich life and experience. Israel is definitely not boring. You know, it's like, I have blessings in my life. I have blessings, and I'm grateful for all of them. And yet nothing can replace romantic love, because it's a different kind of love. It's exclusive. My girlfriends can't give that to me. My family can't give that to me. No one can give that to me apart from one man that will hopefully choose me, and I'll choose him. You know what I mean? And I think I've talked about it in this channel before, of how discouraging it is to not find someone at this age, and especially in Israel. And also being in Israel sort of narrows down my options. It narrows down my options. If before that the options were, you know, like this, now it's like this, because Israel is at war, and Israel in some kind of way or another will always be at war. And I'm trying to think of any guy that would want that in their life, to marry a Jew who your children will be somehow in some way persecuted, because here we are, and will live in a war zone in one way or another. That's like, I don't know who wants to sign up for that. You know what I mean? Who wants to sign up for that? I don't know. If I was a non-Jew, I don't know if I would sign up for this type of life. Maybe I would opt for a more comfortable life. I don't know. And so, you know, usually I come up here and I have some kind of like encouraging message and whatever, but like, I think that sometimes you just have to say, wow, this really, really sucks. And right now, there's nothing I can do to change it, and it sucks. Now, before the internet goes off on me and they're like, what's wrong with you that you don't have someone? And what efforts are you making to find someone? I want to make it clear. I used to think about people my age, like when I was in my 20s, I used to think that people that are in my situation had something wrong with them. It must be that something is wrong with them, that they're not married. And then, now that I'm actually in my 30s, and I look at myself and I look at my friends, there's no reason. Like, they're all beautiful, successful, funny, smart, kind, compassionate, ready, willing, independent, but also searching. Like, there's really nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong. And it's just life circumstances, or, you know, you got played, or, you know, maybe some wrong decisions along the way, but like, you've made now the right decisions, but nothing has changed. And I think it's just an epidemic that exists in our world, that a lot of Christian women can't find Christian men. And I think when you've been in this situation for so long and you're trying to hold on to hope that things will change, and you do your work, you know, you go to heal, and you look at yourself and your mistakes, and you go to therapy, and you build your life, you know, in your career, and you're trying to, you know, create the space for someone to come in, and yet no one comes in. What do I attribute that? I mean, I know some pretty bad people that have gotten married, you know. I know some pretty awful people that have gotten married, and I don't think that marriage is this type of like exclusive blessing to only those who are wonderful or great. Like, plenty of horrible people get married, and maybe I'm opening up myself to like self-sabotage with people in the comments being like, this could be the reason, and that could be the reason. And when you're the least looking for it, then it'll come. And it's like, well, I saw people that were desperate and they still found someone, and that didn't stop them from finding someone. It's more ideal when you're not, but that didn't stop them. And so I'm not wanting to attach like this one set of like things of this is the reason I don't have anyone. But I guess I'm here to say that sometimes life just looks like this. It looks like you thinking that Valentine's Day was going to be so wonderful, and it ended up not being that. And life is so that you think that, okay, this year I can meet someone, and then come the end of the year and you haven't met anyone. And life looks so that, you know, the youthful body that you felt that you had in your 20s is no longer, and you feel like, who's going to want this unyouthful body of mine? When, you know, men would want to go for someone younger. And I think that there's just a whole bunch of like thoughts in my head of like just the discouragement of life as a single person in my 30s. And so that's what I went through. That's what I went through, and I don't want to sugarcoat it. And I think the reason I don't want to sugarcoat it and like leave everyone with like an encouraging message of like, yes, God is going to do it and whatever, it's like, okay, but what if he doesn't? What if that never happens for whatever reason? Because plenty of women have wanted to get married and have kids and didn't. There is no guarantee for me that I'll get married. There's no guarantee for me that I'll have children unless I feel like I've gotten a very specific promise from God that that is what's going to happen. And I think that it's just, here's me saying, sometimes life just feels like this, and within the uncertainty, we can walk that uncertainty together without giving false promises, without, you know, trying to solve the problem for someone and say, this is the reason why, or that's the reason why. Or sometimes you just need to sit with someone and they're really, really crappy feeling. So this is me sitting here with you in this crappy feeling after Valentine's Day. And I don't know if next year I'm going to sit here again and say like, hey, nothing has changed. I'm still single. But till then, can we just sit with each other and just say like, wow, let me give you a virtual hug. I know that this sucks so much, and I'm sorry, and I hope it changes. Just wanted to get it off my chest in case there's someone out there that feels just as frustrated as me in whatever way that expresses itself in your life. Okay, hope that you enjoyed this wonderful vlog, this so encouraging vlog. But yeah, if I didn't want to be honest, I wouldn't be on YouTube. So I love you guys. Hopefully I'll have somewhere I can put this up one day. But till then, if you're new to this channel, subscribe. Not every week is as bitter as this week. Not every vlog sounds like this. And if you're not new, thanks for just listening to me rant about just one moment in life that just really, really sucks. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in a vlog, hopefully very, very soon.
What are you doing, Gabrielle? What are you doing? Huh?
Oh.
You eating your fingers? Is it yummy? Hi, Lovey. Oh, such a good big brother.